In the next few months, Tamil Nadu heads to polls to elect all 234 members of its legislative assembly. And the political landscape has never been more unpredictable. Tamil superstar Vijay's entry into the state's politics has electrified it.
Tamil Nadu இருக்கிற 234 தொகுதியிலும் TVK சின்னத்துக்காக அவங்க அழுத்த போற ஒவ்வொரு பட்டன்ல இருந்து விடுற ஒவ்வொரு ஓட்டும் அணுகுண்டா மாறும் பாருங்க.
But can cinematic stardom translate into electoral success? His TVK claims over 30% vote share in internal surveys. Yet, critics question whether he's indeed a serious contender or merely a spoiler who will split the anti-DMK vote. In this episode, political analyst Sumanth Raman examines Vijay's impact on what promises to be a fiercely contested election. With the AIADMK-led NDA strengthened by PMK and TTV Dhinakaran's AMMK joining the alliance, and the DMK facing anti-incumbency yet buoyed by Stalin's personal appeal, the math is complex and the outcome uncertain. Listen on. It's Thursday, the 5th of February. I'm Anirban Chowdhury. This is the Morning Brief. Hi Sumanth, very warm welcome to the Morning Brief.
Yeah, hi Anirban.
We are talking about something very interesting and something relevant and something imminent, the Tamil Nadu state elections. And we are talking about Vijay's growth and prominence in the circuit, how actually strong or consequential his role would be. So, the South and Tamil Nadu has seen a history of actors going into politics. And Vijay no doubt has mass appeal. But in today's date, in 2026, can cinematic fandom, realistically convert into durable political organization?
To put it simply, no. What Vijay is attempting to do is beyond what a lot of us are able to fathom or understand. Now, he's a big star. There are no two opinions on that. Having said that, the way he has sort of attempted to project himself as a politician and rather very limited effort that he seems to have put in until now on his political journey, it raises a lot of questions. And quite frankly, even as people do expect him significant vote share, the number of seats that he could win is very, very low or maybe even nil. So he could get some vote share. But beyond that, I don't see that there is a lot of traction for Vijay.
Do you see him even slightly different from a Kamal Haasan or a Rajnikant?
Okay, Kamal Haasan came to politics when he was close to 70. Vijay has come to politics at the age of 50. So there is that difference that Vijay appeals to a different generation. And Kamal too, like Vijay has been so far, was mostly a part-time politician. And I think that the way he capitulated and sort of surrendered to the DMK and in exchange for a Rajya Sabha seat, I think that robbed him of all credibility. Rajnikant promised for 25 years to come to politics and then abandoned that attempt at the last minute, citing health reasons and so on. So I don't think the two of their attempted political journeys, as it were, is comparable to Vijay's.
All right. What is Vijay's stance? I mean, his on-screen persona is that of, always fighting corruption, injustice, etc. And I think his campaign, at least the tone of it and the content, is mostly an extension of his on-screen persona. But do you see some depth beyond that also?
Honestly, people in Tamil Nadu are still wondering what his programs are, what his policies are, what his ideology is. Nothing is known. There was a journalist who had actually done an analysis and said that in the last 145 days, he has made 15 public appearances, made speeches which sound a lot like filmy dialogues, has identified the DMK as his political enemy and the BJP as his ideological enemy, but done little else. And people who appear in photographs behind him as his potential idols, that list has gotten longer and longer. Now suddenly MGR is there, Jayalalitha is there. He says, I will fight corruption. How is he going to fight corruption? His right hand, Adav Arjuna, is the son-in-law of the lottery king, Martin, who contributed hundreds of crores of electoral bonds to the DMK. So what are we talking about? I mean, either he believes that mere unthinking fans would carry him to power, or he is there as a spoiler to break the anti-DMK vote and help the DMK win.
And even on that, how strong is he breaking the juggernaut? Is Vijay a disruptor in any way?
Yeah, he's a spoiler. Multiple surveys give him at least around 15% of the vote. And for a party that is contesting the election for the first time, 15% is a very, very significant vote share. Considering that the Congress has about 4% vote share and the BJP until recently had about 4, 5, 6%. Now, having said that, what is the purpose of 15% vote share if it's not going to win you anything? So, are you going to split the anti-DMK vote? Are you going to split to some extent the minorities vote because of their affinity to Vijay? Vijay by faith is a Christian. So there are a lot of questions for which we don't know answers. Unless, of course, he himself contests, he may win his seat. But beyond that, I'm not too sure he's going to win anything.
And what kind of political alignments do you see, or alliances?
Look, he was in talks with the AIADMK until last week when he suddenly started calling them a corrupt party. The logic being that had he thrown in his lot with the AIADMK alliance, and even if he didn't enter the NDA formally, even today, if Vijay signs up with the AIADMK alliance, they will comfortably win the election. For the last 1.5 years, he has been making an announcement almost at every meeting. We will have alliances with parties who accept me as the chief ministerial candidate. Not a single party signed up. So now last week he said, no, we are going to go alone and we will conquer everyone and so on, making a virtue out of a necessity because nobody actually came forward to sign up.
Also, you gave him a 15%. Are you sort of taking into account the most possible dent in his popularity because of that Karur stampede? Even after that, he's been talking about huge rallies.
No, Karur stampede did not have a big impact on Vijay's popularity. What it did, however, was it exposed his lack of leadership qualities. The way he bolted from the scene, the way he did not meet the families of the victims until weeks later. Even now, most of the time he is sort of cloistered at his residence and hardly ventures out. I mean, you got Mr. Stalin and Mr. Edappadi Palaniswamy, the former chief minister and leader of the opposition, hitting the campaign trail for the last 3 months, going district to district, constituency to constituency and covering people. And here is somebody who's just sitting at home, periodically venturing out once in a couple of weeks, making one filmy speech and then disappearing once again. So I'm not too sure that even this 15% may hold up until the elections.
Got it. And if we move away from Vijay, I want to get your thoughts on how do you read the upcoming Tamil Nadu elections in the run-up to them? What do you think will be the key fights? Do you think there'll be new themes? Do you see new victors emerging?
Yeah. So there are 2-3 interesting trends that we see. One is there is anti-incumbency. Is it a wave? No. Is it significant? Yes. The anti-incumbency is very big against many of the MLAs, ministers and other leaders of the DMK. But what is holding the DMK together is the popularity of Mr. Stalin. If Mr. Stalin was not projected as a chief ministerial candidate, they would be cleaned out. There's a little dichotomy there. You know, people are angry with DMK, angry with the ministers, angry with the government and what they've done or not done over the last 5 years, but they still have a soft corner for Mr. Stalin. Most of them see him as some kind of a helpless victim, not in charge of his own government. I mean, it happened, but maybe after a point of time, they felt it was to their advantage to let that image continue. So that's one trend. Second, the AIADMK alliance, the NDA, until 2-3 weeks ago, it was a goner because there were only 2.5 parties. I mean, the TMC or the Tamil Manila Congress, as it's called here, of Mr. Vasan is only a very small party. So they were just ADMK and BJP and TMC. Now, in the last 3 weeks, the PMK of Dr. Anbumani Ramadas has signed up. And then Mr. TTV Dhinakaran. TTV Dhinakaran becomes very important because his vote is a concentrated vote. And last time, the AIADMK lost 17 seats in crucial southern Tamil Nadu. because Mr. Dhinakaran put up candidates against them, and those candidates polled more than the margin of victory for the DMK. So all of these are now factors, which means that we've now got a fight on our hands. And with Vijay sort of increasingly becoming not a very good choice from a political perspective for people, beyond his crazed fans. But if that 15 starts coming down to, say, 10, 11 or so, then definitely it becomes an even more tougher fight for the DMK, and the AIADMK NDA will fancy its chances.
Do you think caste equations will override anti-incumbency in 2026?
Yeah, caste equations always call the shots in Tamil Nadu. For instance, Mr. Dinakaran's vote bank is largely a community vote bank of his community, the Mukulators. So the Mukulator community is extremely strong in southern Tamil Nadu. And one of the reasons why the AIADMK lost last time was believed to be the fact that the Mukulators sort of vote got divided between Mr. Dhinakaran and the AIADMK. And some of them also drifted to the DMK. So this time, the AIADMK is making a concerted bid to woo the entire Mukulator community back. Last time also what happened was there was a 10.5% reservation announced for the one-year community in northern Tamil Nadu. While the one-years constituted around 30-35%, the rest of them, who were effectively 55-60%, they ganged up in favor of the DMK. So this time, that 10.5% is not there as an electoral issue because the courts have not allowed it. So therefore, the traditional caste factors will play a part. The one-years on the one side don't vote the way the Dalits do. So there is a split there. Within the Dalits, there are 2-3 communities which are closer to the BJP than they are to the DMK or the VCK or the Dalit parties. It's not as simple as one would like to think that this community will vote en masse for A or B. For instance, the Muslim and Christian votes, that's about 15-16% of the population of Tamil Nadu. And that will go almost 100% to the DMK combined. Maybe at least 90% will go there. But otherwise, caste equations are quite confusing. And they're also regional. So the same community in a different part of the state may not necessarily vote in the same way as their brethren in, say, another part of the state. So it's quite a complex issue.
But do you think the AIADMK is, permanently fractured? I mean, without the Sasikala family, can it recover, or do you think the die is cast?
So, technically, Dhinakaran is Sasikala's family, even though, they have had differences. Second, her influence as a campaigner and all that is quite limited. Again, it is a community-related vote, which I think with the alliance with Dhinakaran, they will be able to manage. So the AIADMK, for all practical purposes, minus Mr. OPS. See, again, Mr. OPS is also part of the Mukulator community. So last time, there was no major representative of the Mukulator community on the AIADMK side. Even though there were many district secretaries, neither OPS nor Sasikala nor TTV. So this time they've got TTV, and BJP has been smart. BJP has put in its state president, Mr. Nayanar Nagendran, who also belongs to that community. So you now have 2 representatives of the Mukulator community on the NDA side. So the thinking is that will balance out the fact that OPS may not be there and Sasikala may not play a very active role in the campaign. But I don't think whether she plays a role or not, that may not have much of an impact.
And finally, Sumanth, if I have to get a final verdict from you in 2 or 3 lines about the upcoming elections, what would that be?
Okay. I can potentially say that this election, to a significant extent, will depend on how much of a disruptor the TVK is. If the TVK implodes before the elections or implodes to a significant extent, then the NDA will have a fighting chance. If the TVK takes a big vote share, let's say they take 15, 18, 19%, then it becomes difficult for the NDA. The DMK would have the upper hand. So I've got this little mathematical calculation. 40% is a magic number in Tamil Nadu. The alliance which crosses 40%, by and large, should be able to win. NDA currently is probably below 40%. The DMK alliance is probably just above 40%. So if the NDA can add 3 to 4% vote share, then it becomes a very, very competitive alliance. There are so many factors this time. There's talk that the DMK is going to replace nearly 30% of its sitting MLAs because of the anti-incumbency. And that is a very real factor. So if they renominate, let us say, 90% of their MLAs, then irrespective of what TVK or others do, you can make a reasonably accurate guess that many of these sitting MLAs will lose. But the DMK is unlikely to do that. They are talking already internally of changing at least 30 or 40 or 50 MLAs, sitting MLAs. So all these will have an impact. So last time, the prediction I made was a week or so before. And this time also, I'd probably end up doing the same thing.
So we will get in touch with you once again, Sumanth, a week before the elections.
Sure, Anirban. It's been a pleasure and look forward to talking to you again. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Vijay's political journey reveals a harsh truth. Mass appeal does not guarantee electoral success without organizational depth and clear ideology. Meanwhile, with caste equations, alliance dynamics, and the wildcard factor of celebrity politics all in play, Tamil Nadu's 2026 election defies easy predictions. The state's political future hangs in the balance. That's it for today. You were listening to this episode on The Morning Brief. It was produced by Vinay Joshi, sound designed by Indranil Bhattacharjee. A new episode of The Morning Brief drops every Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday on a listening platform of your choice. Stay tuned. All external clips used in this episode belong to their respective owners. Credits are mentioned in the description.